paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. I'm Corbin Hostler, joined as always by DJ Douglas Johnson and Jason Alt. Welcome into the show, everybody. It is release week for Modern Horizons 2. Modern is getting shaken up. Merfolk is playable again. We're coming out on the other side of the pandemic, at least a little bit. All is right with the world, and we're going to talk all about the set today. On the set review.
New rule. If you are doing a post-pandemic event at your store, and it's the first event back because everyone's vaccinated and is wearing masks and shit, you have to call the event Moderna Horizons or WotC will shut down your LGS. That's the rule.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We don't make the rules. We just tell you what they are.
Yeah.
We bring you information on this podcast, and that's what
Sorry
Jason's
about
doing.
the bad news, if you think that's bad news.
I don't know that I'll be going to one, but I am very excited to play with this set. I've already been digging into the modern leagues. I 5-0'd a league with Merfolk. It felt good to be back. The Fish God is insane. The set looks pretty cool. Ragavan is $1 billion. Urza Saga is on its way to being $1 billion.
Now, when you say $1 billion, is that a real number?
Well, somebody did put a picture out of, I saw this on Twitter. Somebody put out a picture of a $32,000 foil Sword of Hearth and Home because that was the price on TCG Player that someone had listed. Is that price real, Jason? Are any prices real? It
is. Yep.
It is. That's actually what we're going to talk about on the show tonight. We get into this because
we're lucky no YouTubers saw that $32,000.
Not yet.
They would have done a stupid tweet about it that made it actually $32,000.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that because it's kind of a recurring thing. It seems to be, especially over the past year or so on the internet. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some emails. We got all our usual picks this week. So let's jump right on to the deep end here. DJ, dig into those emails. I think we've got a couple we want to touch on before we jump into Modern Horizons.
This is titled Wee Woo Wee Woo Patron Email Alert Wee Woo Wee Woo Wee Woo in all caps from John. Different John than last week.
Do you think he meant wee woo, or do you think he was trying to get you to do a siren noise that you're refusing to do?
Wee woo wee woo.
Is this guy a $20 patron?
Corbin gave him that you get one wee woo from Corbin for each increment of $20. So
I practiced those siren noises with the kiddo. We had a phase where he was very into fire trucks, so we've got some wee woo skills in this house.
Hey,
go ahead,
crew.
read that email.
Been spending $1 a month for at least half a year, and this is my first email, so this has got to be at least like a $6 email or something. I'm early 30s, single, making good money, and getting more and more into the concept of FIRE. For those who don't know, that is an acronym for Financial Independence, Retire Early.
Okay.
As such, I'm investing 40 to 50% of my post-tax income mutual funds, but I'd like to start putting a percentage of that into something with higher risk and reward like Magic. Magic seems to be a good candidate, especially playable reserve list staples. The fundamentals behind these all seem solid. Consistent growth over the past 2 decades. 0 chance of being replaced by better cards. Very low chance of being reprinted. Nostalgia factor. Been thinking what it'd be like to put $500 to $700 a month that I've allocated for this into that. And I'm torn between going for beat revised duels, or minty revised duels, or unlimited power 9 for their safety due to collectible nature. Do you have advice on what you would prefer for a long-term keep and hold investment strategy, one that I ideally wouldn't be cashing out for at least a decade, if not 2? Obligatory acknowledgement, these are cardboard trading pieces and not stocks. Wizards could reprint reserve list at any time, blah, blah, blah. He put that in there, by the way. I'm not shortening his email, but yeah.
I'll say before we go any further here, when you said fire and how they were getting into it, I was like, wow, they're really into Wizards' design philosophy, huh? I think Wizards' latest design philosophy was fire design, and it gave us all the banned cards of the past 2 years.
It was like
but apparently
fun,
it's
interactive, repeatable, exciting, or something like that.
Something terrible. But I had not heard that. Whatever it is, retire early. I like that.
Yeah, it's like a subreddit strategy thing.
Fuck it, retire early.
40 to 50% of your post-tax income into mutual funds is insane. Good for you.
He followed JR's 3 rules of financial independence from Money
that
Graph.
That is a reference that not many people will get, and I'm okay with that. But
yeah,
I did not follow any of JR's rules, and I'm not putting 50% of my income into retirement because
you're putting them into kids.
I'm investing. My kids will take care of me.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Your
kids
I'll go
will be
live
rich.
with them.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how it's going to go. Well, okay, then with that said, I guess if you're looking at the very, very long term, I guess I don't want beat up revised duels. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're probably better off getting graded cards at that level. It just depends what
it also
level.
Like a wank to me.
Yeah,
I mean, go for a Lotus.
Yeah, like if you just really want to make it as simple as possible, I want to dump a bunch of money, get yourself a graded Lotus, I guess. Mint dual lands or another idea.
Honestly, the highest percentage growth we've seen is Arabian Nights War Elephant, the light version, so you just got to find out what the next version of that. Just buy all of the Arabian Nights bulk. Something is bound to hit.
Well, yeah, but like that's a lot more effort, right?
You know what's going to happen? They are going to finally answer my letters. They're going to make Aladdin a legendary creature, and it'll be the best commander overnight. And then Arabian Nights Aladdin's going to quadruple in price. And then who's got 8 copies? This guy. So
I think
that's one strategy. Yeah,
I do think the real answer here is like either a Lotus or like cheap Power 9 or just like sealed product that people care about. You go for like original Innistrad boxes or like original Time Spiral or just stuff like that.
You almost can't do it wrong, especially with reserveless stuff.
You want the good, like I said though, you don't want 100 beat up Bayous or whatever, right? Like that's probably fine, but that's probably not where you want to be.
You don't want to get like 30 Yavimaya Hollows and 30 replenishes or whatever. Like you go for like power if you have this kind of capital.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for the email, and thank you for listening. I'm going to look into a little bit of this fire philosophy. Want to retire early? You got to have money, though, don't you? That's the problem.
Next up, $20 patron needs to make money to pay his Patreon bill. From Kyle. Hey, Brew Crew and DJ, have you guys ever built EDH decks to sell from your stockpile of collection bulk? If so, do you include a deck box and D20 and sleeves? Do you charge a premium for your time, have different levels of competitiveness? Do you sell upgrade packs like foils or any other ideas I could steal? Sent via the MyPillow guy from my Frank app. I don't know what a Frank app is, but
I've put together decks and sold them at the LGS, and it's slow. I feel like I put a lot of effort into it. I made it look very nice. It was in a satin tower. Like it was sleeved. And I probably got retail for every card in the deck is how it worked out. Something like that, you know.
I'll say personally, I haven't experimented with that. I think it would be pretty difficult to top telling someone to just buy a Wizards precon.
Yeah.
In terms, like, there's just no way you're going to get, I would think that the time you'd have to put into that would be worth it. But I'll say this, what I have done is we have all of us, just a ton of cards, right? We have thousands and thousands of extra bulk rares and bulk commons and uncommons just in boxes and that sort of thing. So one thing I have done when I've sort of offered in bulk like that in a cheap way is people say, I'll ask them what their favorite color in Commander is or what kind of decks they like to play and then try to grab them. They'll be like, oh, we have black, red or whatever. And I just want 100 rares. And I'll make sure that they get, cards that are in their sort of their parameters. But I think that it's probably pretty difficult to justify the time investment it would take into picking a commander, building a 100 card commander deck and setting it next to the pre-con that Wizards makes. Yeah, it's just a lot. Yeah.
So here's my take on this. If you have experience in selling cards and you've tried to sell a whole deck before, it is difficult to get retail value on that entire deck, because almost everyone who is attempting to buy a deck either has some of the pieces already and is trying to piece together the last 30x cards or whatever, or they have a different vision for the finalized product in mind, even if they starting from zero and they're like, I need 75 Merfolk cards. Their 75 is likely some number of cards different than what you're offering.
Right.
And Commander is such a large extension even on that. Like modern decks, it's like, oh, there's like 10 cards different or whatever. Most people's Commander decks are going to be more than 10 cards different. So you're not going to be building their idealized version of a product if they were like, I want to build Kalia. Your Kalia precon is likely far and beyond just different from what they have visioned. And even if you make it generalized, like it's like Jason said, it's a lot of time. You're not going to get a significant premium, if at all. If you just like building Commander decks and you're just like, I just have this urge to build the decks, then like, sure, yeah, build them, throw them up, see what happens, get some money out of it. But personally, I just would rather sell the singles, keep everything in my organized logistical system of like, these cards go here, these cards go here, the bulk goes here. System works as intended. I don't have the time or energy to build decks.
I did experiment for a while at the store with selling complete modern decks. You know, if somebody traded in their Merfolk deck, traded in their Burn deck, some of those lower priced sort of staple-y decks that were good for beginners. I actually had a couple of those that I kept just in our cases as available. And I think maybe somebody one time traded into it, one of them or something, but by and large, it was not a popular thing. So
yeah, like they'll just get the singles anyway. Like
right, yeah. Instant collections are good. You know, well, I had a ton of success putting filling a small, like a 500 count white box with 15 rares, a bunch of commons and uncommons, basic lands, and a D20. Wrapped them up, sold them for like $5 to $7 or something each. That was great. Did very well with those. Did not do well with full decks though.
Yep.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right.
Next up, we have another DJ. $20 patron. Arrow, you said to do this. You're not wrong. From a different DJ, DJ Rathael. Or Rathiel, something like that. Warm greetings, Brew Crew. As a small-time MCG finance wannabe, I'm curious as to how you look at large collection purchases with respect to taxes. Do you have to file anything special on big deals? Also, do you worry if a person wants $10K in cash only for their cards? Obviously, barring potential risks for the meetup, do you further discount the offer on a cash deal with the assumption the person is dodging taxes? Thanks for answering dumb questions. Been listening since Marcel was mispronouncing card names. Love the cast. Keep it up. P.S. While us Oklahomans might be mildly embarrassed to call Corbin our own, some of us drink far better beer than he does. American Solera in Tulsa rivals the top stouts in the country. Please don't group us all with BWW and Bud Light. Cheers, DJ.
Wow, you like a stout, huh? That must be some pretty great beer. Do you have to chew it? That's pretty awesome. Get out of here. I drink great beer out of the breweries here. So tackling the question, I'll say this. We did an episode some number of hundreds of episodes ago. You probably, the best bet is Google to find it. But I believe we had a tax expert on the show to give some advice.
Yes.
With that said, we are not tax experts, and we can tell you what we know or maybe what we do. But we are going to disclaim that we are not tax experts, and that a lot of people in the industry probably don't have the best tax accounting practices. With that said, go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, sure. So I will, again, Corbin made the great disclaimer, so I won't need to repeat that. But I do think that taxes as a whole in dealing with Magic cards are a lot less scary than people make it out to be, as long as you are willing to spend a small amount of your actual profits paying for a real accountant to do real things with your situation. I do think that people are like, oh, I can't afford like $300. That's so much money to like pay somebody to do my. It is 200% worth it. Trust me. And on that note, starting next year, not to go down the whole political rabbit hole, but the U.S. government, assuming you're a U.S. listener, has changed a lot of the logistics and tax law, and these payment processors like TCG Player, like PayPal, are going to start sending 1099s starting next year if you sell more than $600 in X product. For those who don't know, the limit was $20,000 up until now. I sell more than $20,000, so like I have been doing this as a tax legitimate thing for the past several years. But like starting next year, almost everybody is going to be getting a 1099. Whether or not I disagree with that is not.
No, it's fine. Jeff Bezos paid $0 in taxes in 2019 and then just asked for billions of dollars for his fucking rocket bullshit. But definitely the government's going to go after people who were, $37 worth of taxes.
Yeah, the government makes significantly more money by punching downwards, and they know that person who sold a moat that they happen to find is not going to be able to fight them in court. Yes,
and not a guy who has an actual moat.
Right. They for those who don't know, the IRS cannot go after, that does not have the resources to go after the Bezoses of the world, because they just get tied up in court for years, and the IRS doesn't have the ability to fight that. So instead, you tend to see them go after people of a much smaller stature they're actually able to get money from.
Yes. And if you're the person asking this email, I assume that you are the person who has the opportunity to buy a $10,000 collection. And if I'm assuming that correctly, then I will also just say, like, yes, you have the ability to pay for an accountant. You have the ability to just save all your receipts. Just have the two big numbers at the end of the year of, like, I spent X, I made X, or I spent X, I made Y. You show that to the accountant. You show them your spreadsheets and your paper trail and your emails, and then you don't deal with it, and then you are all in the gold. You're all you're all
if you
set.
spent X and made X, that would be good, right?
Yeah. If X equals the same number, that's the perfect situation. Where I made nothing. Woo.
I'll say this. There's probably a little bit of a difference between if you're somebody just buying and flipping collections versus someone like DJ. When I was running card sales on my own at a very large level, before it was a store, when I was responsible for it myself, I had to keep an inventory number. And just FYI, you have to pay taxes on your unsold inventory because it counts as an asset. Yeah. So that is something to keep in mind if you're going to be claiming an inventory, if you're really grinding your TCG Player store out. But like DJ said, all of these are questions that can be annoying. At the end of the day, there's enough tax breaks and write-offs if you do a good job at your home office. You can write off a lot of what you're doing so that you don't end up just owing a ton of taxes. But talk to an accountant, because they will help you figure out exactly what you need for your situation. And it's really not that difficult after you've taken that step.
Yes.
But what you don't want to do is get hit with a big 1099 at the end of 2022 that you had no idea was coming. And now all of a sudden you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. To answer the specific questions in the email, do you have to file anything special on big deals? I file it. If I spend $10,000 in a collection, it gets grouped in with all the other 10 times I paid $1,000 for a collection. It's the same number at the end of the day. Do you worry if a person wants $10,000 in cash? No. So obviously barring potential risks, et cetera, like 10,000 in cash is the same as 10,000 in PayPal, Venmo, Bitcoin, Zelle, whatever the hell the kids use these days. And I don't discount that cash offer further.
And make them feel cool by giving them a briefcase full of $5 bills. It's like 10 grand probably looks great. No, it's just one stack of 100. It's like one band of 100s.
Yeah,
10 grand.
Yeah.
What you want is a briefcase, and then you'd be like, my daughter gave me that briefcase. I said you could have the money. I didn't say you could have the briefcase.
Get them.
No, the real play is to get paid in pennies. And then just use the pennies as like raw just use the raw material from the pennies, because they're worth more than a cent. If you like melt them down or use the zinc. Or whatever.
That's definitely illegal, by the way. Maybe don't do that one.
I gave a lot of good advice. I needed to...
Yeah. Well, here's a question though. Will this apply, DJ, when events come back and I sell you $10,000 at a booth?
Every vendor seems like they're different. I've had to sign stuff at some booths and not at others.
I mean, I've never gotten a 1099 for selling cards and cash. Does this impact? Do you think it'll impact the way business is conducted at a GP?
It might. Businesses, I can't speak for other
Right.
vendors or any vendor really, but like there may be some vendors who are less legitimate than they should be, and they might have to change practices or find out the hard way. That's definitely a possibility.
Well, do you think that I mean, is there any way that you think as a player, if you go sell your modern deck and you get $700 for it, are you suddenly getting a 1099 at the end of the year, or are those?
Yeah, I mean, you might like that. There might be stores like that have you fill out a tax form. They do that in Europe already. Like if you sell cards in Europe over X amount, you have to fill out a tax form, and that gets sent to whatever country's version of the IRS that they have.
That's why I barter. I give them livestock and services. It's like, here's some maple syrup I made. And they just don't have money involved at all. The government doesn't get to take a piece if you just barter.
I mean, you seem
Good
like the kind of
point.
person that would like trade a dowry of Liliana, right? Like that seems like an asset.
Look, if I have to pay some guy to take her, I will. And that's
This
not
is-
me being homophobic. If she wants to marry a woman, I don't have to pay a dowry. So that's even better. That's the rules, right?
I couldn't tell you, buddy.
I am not an expert in serfdom law.
That's medieval law,
Imagine
not
being
my
the
expertise.
one guy that like fell asleep in law school and they're handing out internships and he got the like medieval law internships. Like, we still do sumsit cases here. That'd be awesome.
All right, $20 patron next up. Bam, Travis. You guys, I was sitting around just thinking about magic and finance, and I started to wonder if there would be value in some kind of index to know where the market is at. It could just be a reference of the total cost of the top 10 staples from each format. Would this be helpful, useful, interesting? Just wondering, and would like to hear you guys talk about this when you get a chance. I enjoy the show. You guys are great. Talk more dad stuff and more beer stuff. You guys probably already know this, but I am not a $20 patron, but I would be if you guys read this email. Talk later.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, we fit on dad
That's
stuff
legally
and
binding.
we fit on dad stuff and beer stuff this episode, so you're stuck now. Patreon.com/BSB. We'll see you there. Enjoy the after hours.
Sent from my 1985 Nintendo Rob.
I think Corbin saying that he doesn't like stouts counts as talking beer stuff. That's adorable.
Well, what do you guys think, though?
I don't really think that, like,
That's too subjective.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that it's been attempted before by content creators, a top 10, top 20 staples sort of thing. And I think that maybe there's some value in it when you're looking at something like modern. But the problem is, let's look at the top 20 most played cards in modern and price them out. Well, you're going to have a lot of cheap cards in there that are just good. Okay, well, then maybe let's do it different stuff. But it's just so heavily impacted by reprints and stuff like that,
Yeah,
like
the closest you're
Fetchlands
going to
and-
get
yeah.
to, like, something that could even be considered like a Dow Jones or whatever is just going to be like individual high volume stores sales records, which you'll never have access to.
Sure.
Like if you're like, if you just happen to like secret agent like James Bond your way into Star City's database or whatever, and you're like, they sold X thousand cards today, these are their top selling X and whatever, like they made this much money compared to last year's total taxed income, whatever. Like that's the closest you'll get, but that's not like a realistic data point for anybody.
There's maybe some value in looking at the price of, say, the top 5 decks in modern, top 10 decks in modern now versus 2 years ago. You can see sort of what the price to play competitively has changed, but that's not, I don't really know if that's like a function of anything. Yeah. So I mean, that's maybe not the most helpful answer, but it's just not something that I think any of us have ever found a lot of value in tracking.
All right, and we have one more reference. We made that joke about Moby Dick last week and about how it was just one big tweet. Somebody wanted to let us know. This is from Deoxys. It's not Deoxys. Like, I know how to spell a Pokemon. It's not that. But anyway, Hey, Brew Crew, I wonder if the word dick is filtered from your emails because the title was Twitter Moby Dick. Anyway, you might enjoy knowing that reality moves faster than fiction, and your joke about Twitter Moby Dick is already outdated. And they sent us a link to the entire book of Moby Dick translated into emoji.
Oh, that's...
So like... Is it like a cane emoji and then a whale emoji and then like a splash emoji and then like a death emoji? I've never read Moby Dick, but that seems
it's a 700
right.
page it's a 700 page PDF.
Oh.
And so like the opening line is like, call me Ishmael, and so it's like phone emoji, then like guy emoji, boat emoji, whale emoji, okay emoji, some years ago, never mind how long precisely, and then it's like calendar emoji, money emoji. Yeah.
That's
it
terrible.
I don't care for that.
That's horrible.
Somebody
Thank you for letting us know.
No money.
Wow.
Somebody did that for no money.
Wow. Thank you for letting us know that existed.
It might have been a bot. We don't know. It could have been a bot.
Could have been a bot.
It could have been a... I hope it was a bot.
It was somebody's like graduate. It was some like programmer's graduate project or something. You know, it was a school project. They were like, what if we trained a bot to put Moby Dick into emojis? Wouldn't that be funny? I hope so. I hope somebody didn't put the time into that. All right. Well, let's thank you for all the emails. We've got another YouTube comment we want to call out here. But first, we're going to do some Breaking Bulk.
Breaking Bulk time. Breaking Bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking Bulk. The end.
I have a creature from Legions. That narrows it down, I know. But it is a black creature from Legions. It is a black common creature from Legions. And I'll end it there. And
It's a zombie.
I got a brick of it right here. It's not a zombie.
It's a cleric.
It might be a cleric.
It is a cleric. It's vile
Deacon.
cleric. It's zombie cleric.
It's not a zombie.
Is it Vile? Is it Vile Deacon?
It's not Vile Deacon.
Okay.
Vile Deacon's a zombie.
No, it's a cleric.
Oh, see, I didn't bring up all the cards in Legions on my computer screen like Corbin did. So
I did not. It's just the one of the
I'm
few
just
I
looking
know.
off to my second monitor for no reason.
I don't know what it is, so if I'm cheating, I'm not doing a good job.
Correct. Are you saying it's a cleric because it's a shapeshifter?
No, it's not a shapeshifter. I don't think there were any shapeshifters in that set other than
Mistform Ultimus.
Well, yeah,
Boom.
but that's not black.
Idiot. Idiot.
It's not black. Like,
yeah, it is. Mistform Ultimus is absolutely black. It's every creature.
What?
It's every creature type.
Yeah, including black.
Yep. He's got you there, DJ.
It is Blood Celebrant. A one
That's what
mana.
I said. That was the first thing out of my mouth was Blood Celebrant.
Mm-hmm.
Run the tape back.
Running the tape back. What's this card do?
It is a 1 mana black cleric, and you can pay black and pay 1 life to add a mana of any color to your mana pool. So this got a little more popular when Kurik was released in Commander 2019, because you can pay life instead of black mana, and just it's a very like life drainy.
It's half Phyrexian
Sure.
mana, right?
Yeah. It's just a way to filter mana from black to other colors, but the life payment and the black mana symbols have been more relevant in recent years. The TCG market on this is like 60 cents, but as a direct seller, I can always list these for 99 cents and sell out of them like just over the course of a few weeks. I just found this brick of them from a collection, a nice thick brick of 60 or 70 copies, and I expect it to last me like a month or so.
Shows that brick and Blood Celebrant. Show us the brick. Hold up the brick.
Hey, that's great. It's always exciting when you find a big chunk of cards worth money.
It's a thick brick.
Oh, I didn't find it. I was handed it, which made it so much easier.
True.
Somebody picked it for you. And
Yes.
True.
I just bought a set sorted and alphabetized collection. I was like, what do I do with this?
All you have to do is hand
My
them
wife's
some
like,
money.
you can just put it on TCG Player. I was like, it's in order. What do I do? It feels weird not having any work to do.
It's the fun. The fun part is the picking anyway. Like usually,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm the same way when people just scan their cards in and then they send me like a screenshot of their TCG player thing. They think I'm going to get there and price them all out myself. Hell no. I'm just going to look at your screenshot, spot check that the cards are there and they're in good condition, and then use your numbers. Good enough for me. Save me the work I'm in.
Hear that,
You're gonna give
everyone?
me numbers,
I was going to
I'll
say,
give you
everyone
numbers.
hear that? Scam Corbin. You can just...
Scam me. I said I'll spot check you.
Hey, Corbin, want to buy some cards?
Nah, we're good.
A blue uncommon from Aether Revolt. And I did not pick it last week.
Is it Trophy Mage?
Nope.
Is it efficient construction?
No.
That's the one that he just prefaced his words by saying that he didn't pick it last week.
Well, I
Correct.
didn't pick efficient construction last week. Corbin did.
Exactly. Okay, well, what other blue cards are there in Aether Revolt then?
Are you asking me? Because it's a guessing
I'm-
game.
I'm thinking.
Why don't you think cards that are good and
Is
therefore
it,
worth picking?
Is it like the Plunderer or something? The counter thing? Proliferate or proliferate-ish creature?
This is really embarrassing. It's not a creature.
Is it counter target colorless spell?
Metallic Rebuke?
No, that's
No.
Ceremonious Rejection, but that's Kaladesh.
It's Kaladesh.
That's Kaladesh.
Okay. I mean, is it Metallic Rebuke? That's also
Sure
Kaladesh,
isn't.
I think. Yeah.
Where is
Wait,
it?
that's Metalcraft. That's from like Mirrodin.
You're Metal
What?
Craft.
No, Metallic
Is it?
Rebuke is not from Mirrodin.
It's got Improvise, right?
Yes.
Improvise, not yeah.
Hey, what block had Improvise? Was it Kaladesh?
Is it Whirler Rogue? That's from Kaladesh too.
No, Whirler Rogue is from a core set, I believe.
And is a creature.
True.
This is not a creature. It's an instant. It's
Oh, is
three
it
colors.
the flicker thing? It's like it's like
Illusionist Stratagem!
Yeah.
Oh, I
Select
actually
the
do
two
pick that
target
one.
creatures
Good
you
call.
control.
Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. And you draw a card. This card fucks.
yeah, it's the thing with a bunch of boats on it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Chase was like, I'm gonna make ghost boats, and then
This is
apparently
my
that was-
stratagem. And everyone's like, what is a stratagem? He's like, it's the strategy. Why don't you just say strategy?
Because we need more card names.
Shut up. I'm Jace, the mind sculptor. I can erase your mind if you make fun of me for saying stratagem.
Yeah, this is a good pick. Like, I always see this.
I know.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I know.
I didn't say actually, though. I didn't say, well, this is actually
a
like
good
Corbin
pick.
does. I said this
Yeah,
is a
like,
good pick.
ooh.
Period.
How condescending. If you'd like these picks early, you could go to patreon.com/BSB and get them before everybody else by becoming a patron. You could have access to the spreadsheet where we record the picks, so that's how we know that Corbin picked Faded
I doubled
Infatuation
one. Yep.
2 weeks ago and tried to pick it again this week. That we knew because we have access to the spreadsheet. You could have access to the spreadsheet also. Patreon.com/BSB. Get these picks of the week and breakings bulk days before everybody else. Get yourself a huge advantage and use that and to turn into enough money every month that you're like, yeah, I'll absolutely throw these guys 20 of the hundreds of dollars they made me.
Well, speaking of, I'm going to come in with the last pick here. It's a Kaldheim common.
What color is it?
It has blue and green mana symbols on it.
More it's uncommon. Blue and green mana symbols. Why are you like this? Is it that land?
So it's, I was going to say, it's okay, yeah.
Is it Rimewood Falls? It sure is. Rimewood Falls is the blue-green snowland. Enters play tap, makes blue and green, obviously. It's $1 out of Kaldheim. They're not all worth money, but this one is.
But you should still pick all of them out of bulk.
You should, I agree, for sure.
You should never bulk out a non-basic land.
I don't think that's true.
I think you should at least check on almost all non-basic lands. Some of them are bulk.
I don't bulk them. I keep them. They're in a box.
Wow, you have a lot.
Well, a pile of boxes.
You got all. How many guild gates you got there, Jason?
A 1,000 count box full of guild gates.
You don't need 1,000 count box of guild gates, people.
You're gonna feel like such an asshole when they're buy listing for 2 cents each, and I'm just like, oh, there's a car payment, and then
Is it?
Corbin's like, but I would, yeah.
Is it? All right, well, that's you have that more power to you. I value my floor space over a box of Guild
No, you
Gates.
don't. You don't value your floor space. You put them on the floor in an office that floods.
Well,
He's
that's
got
only
you there.
I only do that with like Ristic studies, so not Guild Gates.
Yeah.
Should use the Guild Gates to block the water.
I put the bulk on top.
A
Save me,
1,000
box with Gaze cradles in it.
Well, hey, whatever gets you through. All right, well, we have one last message we want to read here. This one came from YouTube comments. You think we're not reading, but we are. So please, everybody, give us that like, that subscribe, that thumbs up. Jason will tell you to finger blast that bell icon and help us out in that algorithm. So here's the question. Jason, Corbin, DJ, what do you think about Modern Horizons 2? Are prices going to tank like most sets thanks to booster fun? Or do you think the set is priced high enough that the prices won't drop after release? So this leads us into...
You mean like the booster packs of the set are priced high enough? Is that what you mean by it?
I think if they're talking about the sealed... Yeah, the price to actually buy a box is high enough that dealers will keep their...
Is a box a lot? I committed to buy cases of set boosters, and I actually don't know how much they're going to cost me.
So a draft booster box is going right now on TCG Player for right at $300. So if you want to just draft Modern Horizons 2, it's going to set you back about $300 just to get in the door. So with that said, are prices going to tank or are they going to stay high? Remember, Modern Horizons 2 is an unlimited print run set. So as long as customers and distributors as long as the product is being bought and sold on the secondary market, Wizards will continue to print them and sell them to distributors. So personally, as we get into the set review here, we're not even going to talk prices this week because we all think that they're all going to come down. The original Modern Horizons had something like 20 cards above $10 or something, and this set has double that right now, or so, as of a week ago. I don't think that these prices are going to hold in the least. I don't even think they are close to being accurate right now.
Yeah,
that's my take.
I've seen a few people on Twitter using numbers and screenshots and snippets of individual cards to make statements about how the expected value of the set is insanely high. And the biggest problem with that is that using pre-order prices to judge the value of the set, when the variant printings skew dealer logistics so much, is going to give you false expectations. I mean, it's really good for your clickbait, but like let's just look at like Ragavan. If you go to MTG Stocks, and MTG Stocks, like, it's a great set, but it pulls, like, one of the potential downsides of like pulling from TCG Player is that TCG Player can be wrong. And if you go to TCG Player, like, stores are pre-selling it for $70, and the way that a store pre-sells a card means that they have to guess how many of that product they are going to open. Like, in order for Star City to say, how much should we charge for Ignoble Hierarch? The card just got previewed like 5 minutes ago. They need to be able to use predictive algorithms and, like, use math to, like, formulate, like, okay, if this set has this many cards and this many rares and this many printings of this, if we open X boxes, we can open Y Ragavans. I've used X and Y a lot lately in this episode, but, like, you get the point where it's the vendor needs to know how many of the boxes they're going to open and how many of the products they're going to get. And when there are so many different variant printings and so many different types of booster boxes, like, that math just gets exponentially harder for vendors. And so vendors are going to hedge those bets, and, like, they're going to make assumptions of, like, okay, there are going to be some customers who order the wrong card on accident and I have to refund that, and that takes away from the amount of total pre-orders I have available. There's going to be people who buy, like, sketch version Urza's Towers or Urza Sagas, but they wanted the regular foil version, whatever. There's going to be so many more logistical mistakes in the set on both seller side and buyer side that makes it so that they have to hedge those bets by increasing the prices and hoping that people are willing to pay the exorbitant pre-order price. And it's just a way to basically say, like, maybe we don't want to sell as many cards. Maybe we want to just have a lower number of pre-orders, have a lower number of error issues, have a lower number of Crystal Commerce sync problems, and just have a lower number of issues with the set entirely. And then 2 months after the set releases, then we'll start making our consistent churning. Then we'll start having issues be ironed out. Then we'll have everything be smoother and streamlined. And it makes it much harder for individual players who are hoping to know what the price of the card is, but that's just the nature of the beast now with how Wizards makes the product. Like, if you go to Wizards, if you go to TCG Player and you're like, I want to pre-order a Ragavan, the only listing up there is $100 because Frogtown Hobbies is hedging that bet, and they're saying, well, we can't list it for $40. We can't even guesstimate how many will open because there's so many different what's the word?
Variants.
Like, yeah, not even variants. But there's so many
unknown variables.
Yeah, I mean, I guess unknown. Yeah, variables is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
there's so many variables there that could just like go wrong. And so when you're the average Joe looking at the price of a card and wanting to pre-order like you do, like you've pre-ordered cards in the past, you've gone to your LGS or TCG, your Star City or whatever, and you've gone there when like Cons of Tarkir pre-order, and you're like, I'll pre-order my fetches for $25, and I know they're going to drop to 17, but that's fine. I'm using that math and knowing how much they'll drop. That is all just out the window.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That was very well said. And with that in mind, we're going to talk through the set again, and these cards are ridiculous. I think though, as we're looking at the expensive ones, the fetch lands are probably the cards that I think I'm most interested to follow the price on. And not necessarily all the different variants, but just the sort of the base printing of those. I think following those and seeing what happens to those cards over the next 2 weeks or so will probably give you a lot of insight into what's going to happen with sort of the set as a whole. Because if those drop, everything's going to plummet, because those have sort of the best fundamentals behind them.
Well, those are like
in
Cabal
terms
coffers.
Cabal coffers was actually the one I was thinking of to throw in there as well. But I'm not quite sure, because there's, coffers is got fewer printings and fewer recent printings than the fetches, and is probably not going to be as stapley and modern as Scalding Tarn or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, the short version of that is that you just use the reprints to sort of judge the trajectory and the expectations of the crazier cards. Like, I know everybody wants to find the next like big thing. Everybody wants to be the person that buys Urza Saga at $1 and sells it for 30 or whatever. But that's just the odds of that happening are so stacked against you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit surprised by this set, because I would have expected EDH to make like a bunch of completely different cards super relevant. But the top 5 right now in terms of percentage is Ignoble Hierarch, Esper Sentinel, Ragavan, Urza Saga, and Dauthi Voidwalker. Those don't seem like, these aren't played outside of EDH cards. These seem very much, these are also played outside of EDH cards.
Mm-hmm.
Ignoble Hierarch is going to be a modern staple forever. Ragavan's already like ruining Legacy.
Yes.
Urza Saga, it seemed like it would be better outside of EDH than it is in EDH. So that kind of surprised me. I would have expected some stuff like Sanctum Weaver or, maybe Profane Tutor or Tireless Provisioner to be in the top 5, but we're not really seeing that yet, and that could change as people actually open the stuff and actually commit to, building their decks. But for right now, it seems like a lot of the stuff that isn't strictly EDH cards is performing the best in EDH, so we might just have what we had with Modern Horizons 1, where it was Ren and 6 or nothing in those booster packs.
It got there to that point, yeah. I mean, looking at Modern Horizons now, Ren and 6 is the top at 75, Force of Negation 70, Urza's 40, Season Pyromancer's 40, Prismatic Vista's 30. Nothing else is above 30. So, I mean, that gives you an idea. We're seeing a lot of cards above that price right now. I'm seeing a lot of rares above those prices right now out of Modern Horizons too. Like, there's just no way any of these hold. That said, I think that there is a lot of opportunity that probably will be created here. And right now, it's an interesting time because we are kind of, Wizards recently announced that they're going to be doubling down on in-person play in the future. Places are starting to hold events again. Wizards is allowing stores to sanction events again. I don't want to say we're on the other side of the pandemic, because I know that's especially not true for many of our international listeners. But here in the United States, the reality is, if you want to play Magic, you can start doing so in paper. And therefore, with Modern Horizons 2 coming out, and the fact that no one's really even touched Modern in a year or so, and we've had so many bans and things change in that time, there is a ton of hype and excitement behind this set. But remember, there's still not going to be Grand Prix for a while. We're still not going to have massive high-level Modern tournaments to push this stuff. And here in another couple months, we'll be deep into Innistrad again, and standard rotation and everything else. So I think that it's hard to imagine making more hype around Modern Horizons 2 right now than there is. So I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing such high pre-order prices. But that said, at some point, right? At some point, 3 months from now, or maybe longer, depending on how things go, we are going to see these cards bottom out. And then you are going to want to pick up these cards that are going to be Modern or EDH staples for a long time, because there are a lot of really powerful cards for both absolutely. In this. So, yeah.
I mean, you can just look at the Modern Horizons 1 stuff. It's not an exact parallel, but there have been opportunities to buy $5 Hex Drinkers and $8 Seasoned Pyromancers for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with that said, is there anything else? Look, we don't want to go card by card in this set because everything's overpriced and we have no idea what any of it matters, blah, blah, blah. We've been talking about Modern Horizons 2 ad nauseum for a while. But with that said, is there any other points sort of with this set, with it coming out, that people should know or, be on the lookout for?
I do think that paying attention to the set boosters and how Wizards announced the this is less to do with like Modern Horizons 2 and more to do with like the entire project booster migraine that they created.
Jesus.
But like paying attention to the set boosters and what cards you can get from the list is a bit more relevant. There's a lot of there was an article recently that came out that dealt with the secret layers and the Walking Dead style of printings and how they'll integrate those into set boosters in the near future.
Yes, that's a big point.
And like the main takeaway I got from that was like, if the community can come together on one single thing, is to not buy set boosters, and then that might actually get them to stop making them, which would be cool.
I do hate set boosters. I don't even mind collector boosters. I actually hate set boosters though.
I love collector boosters are all I buy.
Oh, that's the idea.
Well, you said you got a case of set boosters earlier.
No, collector.
Okay.
Oh, baller. But I mean, that's the point. That's what they want you to buy.
I didn't realize it'd be $5,000. Like, I don't care, but like, I didn't realize that when I asked for it.
That's not a fire strategy, Jason.
Well, if I'm paying $5,000, I can probably sell them for $7,000 or whatever.
Yeah, so. It may be the most fire of strategies. Maybe. We don't know. Yeah.
I'm operating at the LGS level at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, it's going to be an interesting set release. I am optimistic about the future of Modern again. I think a lot of people like that Modern Horizons 2 has strong Modern cards and innovative Modern cards, but not just like Omnath, just not like this card's just obscenely powerful. The cards in Modern Horizons seem to be maybe more cool than broken. And so it seems like people are really excited about the set.
I will say, don't bulk anything in this set out.
True.
Just don't bulk anything. Just keep your Modern Horizons 2 bulk, and then just put it in the Underworld cookbook pot or whatever, and then wait a year, and then it'll be very, very valuable. There are so many cards in this set that are just going to be worth a lot of money, from like artifact lands to people bulking out Kyrian Rangers to just cards that have keywords that haven't been seen in 10 years. Like cards that have the keyword explore on them. Just there's so many cards in the set where you just don't bulk it out. Just wait.
Yeah, you're right. There are literally dozens of cards that are over $1 right now. Obviously pre-orders, but at the uncommon spot, if that gives you kind of an idea of how, it doesn't take very many of those cards to stay non-bulk for this set to be insane to pick. And the fact that Tireless Snacker is in the set, Timeless Witness is in this.
We're not going to call it Tireless Snacker.
I vote yes. I like that.
Shout out
yet, when I go on and say the Esper Sentinel should be called Ristic Stud, everyone's like, it should be Ristic Body.
Shout out to Emma Parlow for Tireless Snacker, by the way. I love that one. Glad we were able to drop that here. But anyways, yeah, DJ's right. Don't bulk out a single thing from this set. All right. Well, let's move on then.
whoa,
Let's
no,
jump in.
one
Go ahead.
more
Oh, we got more. Great. Okay,
I am
that's cool.
just one minor thing. I'm just looking at like the basic lands from this set for the first time and noticing that they chose notable reprints of popular lands in the past. So like, there's Thunder Plains, from what is that?
Yeah,
Tempest
they did
or
that.
is that Tempest or Mirage or
Thunder Plains was
Odyssey?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's Lightning Plains. There's Lightning Plains in the set. So like, don't
Yeah,
poke out the
what-
basics either.
What is Thunder Plains? Thunder's a noise.
Thunder
Who came up with the word Thunderbolt, by the way? There's no such thing as a Thunderbolt.
Get him.
Was it Queen?
I think Thunderbolt is like, it's both. It's like there's the thunder and the lightning bolt. So like, a Thunderbolt is like a bolt that also has a sound
dumb.
attached to it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, actually.
No. Was
No.
it Bohemian Rhapsody where they say thunder, bolts of lightning, but it sounds like they're saying thunderbolts of lightning?
Not a clue. I'm going to guess that they did not
Did
invent
anybody
the word
say Thunderbolt
Thunderbolt.
before Bohemian Rhapsody? You don't know.
Etymology
You're right, I don't.
of the word Thunderbolt. Here we go, Google.
It just says anachronism. Interesting.
No one's ever... Mid-15th century, from
So it was-
thunder plus
so it was-
bolt.
So it was Queen.
Yep.
There's a magic card called Thunderbolt. Just the worst.
Yep.
It's
Wait,
it's deal 3 to a player or 4 to a flyer, I think. From Avacyn Restored.
Oh, it's from Weatherlight.
It was reprinted in Avacyn Restored though, right?
But you said it was from Avacyn Restored.
Sure. So
DJ's right. It was. Good call. It is an
Got me.
That is what it does, and it is an Avacyn Restored.
It was in
Plus,
Weatherlight.
Plus the book one.
The book one.
Plus the book one.
Weatherlight is a very important set that is worth $300 because Null Rod is worth $300.
There you go. I have a question, though, on this topic. I've noticed this before. I think it was I don't even know what it's called, but there was a Shards of Alara island that was some weird art with something on the horizon, very blocky or whatever.
Is it the chippy ones? The Esper chippy lands?
Maybe you'd recognize it if I had it in front of me. The point is, it was like $1, and it was always a bulk pick. But then they reprinted it in like Magic 2019, I think, and now it's not.
Which is crazy. Who wants that but doesn't want the original?
It's interesting for sure. I mean, it may just be a function of buy lists being, fluctuating. But I've not had very good luck selling some buy listing basic lands that used to be buy listable after they got reprinted. So, DJ's right. Don't bulk out your lands, but it could go either way depending on which basics they are in particular. Just something to keep in mind.
Which sucks.
Yeah, that
You
would
could
actually
see like a P3K basic that's like $18 or whatever. Just totally tank.
That would be an interesting case study. I mean, I don't even know how you'd go about. It'd be a lot of work, I think, but just trying to figure out what happened to, desirable basic lands after they were reprinted. It'd be interesting. But what's always interesting, of course, is our picks of the week, and that's what's coming up right now.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
Right now, and I'm going to keep up the modern trend here because I want modern to be a thing again, and I want this card to be a thing again because it's in one of my favorite brews that I've ever come up with, Through the Breach. It's a very powerful card. As you know, it was originally in Champions of Kamigawa. It was once $50. It's got a box topper, it's got an invocation, and it's got an Ultimate Masters printing. The card had fallen to all about $2-3 at the beginning of the year. It's climbed to $4. It's got a huge pedigree. I think that Through the Breach decks are likely to stay they've been relevant over the past year in Modern for anyone who's been following it. I think they'll probably continue to be relevant, and the card is starting to show some growth. So I'm going to be optimistic for the future of Modern here and say Through the Breach has come off its lows and is never going to be $3 again, so you may as well pick them up now.
I like it. Get my thumbs up.
All right.
I sold out of box topper Through the Breaches like a month ago, and I was like, that seems like a low number, but fair enough.
I had a lot of. It's real hard. You want the invocation one is 4 times what the box topper one is, despite being ugly as sin. So Food for thought.
Yeah, the box topper Through the Breach has some of the best art just ever. Just it's so good.
I think it's great. Yeah, those are the ones I use, I think.
My pick is very similar to yours, Corbin, which doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
I have a 5-mana modern card that has a high pedigree. I mean, I know that's not a guessing game, but like 5-mana modern card that has a high pedigree and is used to play other dumb cards.
I'm not going to guess.
I know.
Hold up. I'm thinking.
Shut up, Corbin. Shut up, Corbin. Stop
Possibility Storm.
Nope.
I don't know. That's a good guess.
Bring to Light.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, this has the Converge mechanic, which is an actual keyword that they have put on Magic cards.
God, I bought so many of those and they never did anything, so I lost them.
BFC was so
this
bad.
is one that I have always just, this has always been a suspicious card to me, and it's been playable before. I used to search for escape shifts, it's searched for, I think people have used it to play Through the Breaches, too, in the past. It's just like a wild...
Bring to Light's a very good card. Yeah,
It has come to light, man.
And it's still just $2 or $3. I mean, it used to be bulk. It used to be a bulk rare. And I had like 50 or 60 of them, and I was like, I guess I just...
To be fair, though, on that same LGS trip where I bought these in bulk, I bought Rishkar's Expertise and Ether Reservoir.
Well, now they've all come good. I definitely have Bring to Lights in my box of bulk rares.
Oh, yeah, like, this is just a card that gets better and better anytime they're going to print a card that can be reliably searched with it. And it's just very, very powerful, and I think that this is absolutely worth hoarding. It has one printing, and Battle for Zendikar was like 6 years ago, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
No, Battle for Zendikar was...
no. It sure was. That was before my son was born. He's 5 now.
This card
has been going for 9 years. Jesus.
Yeah, Bring to Light, and like it has one printing, and like that's unheard of now because cards from Strixhaven have 5 printings. Like
That's true.
It has one print. There's the Battle for Zendikar one and the pre-release version, and then just the regular foil. That's such a crazy concept.
It really is, actually. Which just tells you it'll be a full art version of it at some point.
How much is the... It's on the list now.
It's on the list.
Yeah, it's avoided list printings, it avoided Mystery Booster, it's avoided all of that. And, like, it could get reprinted, yes, but at $3, like, if you're somebody that seems like you want to play this, absolutely buy 4 right now.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those cards that fills a lot of modern decks in, and even, like, 4-color Escape Shift decks, just play it X equals 4. You know, because you can go get Escape Shift, so card's sweet.
I don't need them anymore. I got one that... Have I picked this recently? Second Harvest?
No.
Good. Second Harvest rules and everything makes tokens now.
True.
This is too cheap. Second Harvest is just going to be a $10 card. Everyone's going to be like, when that happen?
Well, that's
what set is that from?
Well, it was originally in Shadows over Innistrad, but it was in Commander 2019.
And like, that's the crazy thing about this card. I love it because, like, this card was in the deck where all three of us, when they were previewing that deck, were like, oh yeah, Anointed Procession and Parallel Lives are in that deck. Easy, 100%. Both of those cards are in the token deck. Of course they are. It's a Naya token deck. And then they didn't put either of those, but they put Second Harvest in when it was $1. And like...
and now it's more.
And now Anointed Procession and Parallel Lives are both $40+, maybe $50.
And Second Harvest has gone up too. They just couldn't win with that printing, I guess. That's funny.
So I got a lot of cheap Second Harvests, but like even $5 is not the end. It's the beginning.
Yes, I agree.
I kind of think so too. Yeah, very powerful card. All right, everybody. Well, I think that will do it. Thank you for listening. As always, friends, Jason, DJ, thanks for podcasting with me as always. We're headed off to stream. If you are into hanging out on Twitch, we stream twice a week at Twitch, at least twice a week at twitch.tv/Brainstorm Brewery. We alternate between playing video games and playing Commander. So
play Commander on Wednesdays.
That's right. Come check out those streams. We've got a great string of guests always. So everybody, thank you so much for listening. Enjoy Modern Horizons 2. Enjoy safely. I hope you open up all the expensive ones.
It's like drinking and driving, but magic. Like you're just opening booster packs while steering the wheel with your knee.
Just don't go cough into someone's face or whatever while you're drafting. That's all I'm asking. You know, just go wear a mask and be a nice
Gathering.
person.
Enjoy responsibly.
I'm not gonna live in fear. You wear your chin diaper, but I'm not gonna live my life.
Magic the Gathering. Enjoy responsibly.
See you next week, everybody.